Yeah.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Before we get started, I did want to mention if there are any members of the public here who intend to speak during the open public comment, please be sure to check in with the city clerk and fill out a speaker's card. Okay, at this time, I will call to order the special meeting of the City of Palm Springs Administrative Appeals Board. We'll begin by standing and saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States
of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I will now ask the city clerk to please call roll of those board members present.
Board Member Cronander.
Present.
Board Member Cleary.
Present.
Vice Chair Howard.
Here.
Chair Reed.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Before asking for acceptance of the agenda, I want to turn the floor over to our city attorney, who let me know that we have a change or modification of the agenda.
Thank you, Chairman Reed and members of the board. The item that is number 2 on your agenda, presented regarding David Byron and Reno Dorici. No, wrong one. I'm sorry. Richard Biama is the matter that I'm drawing your attention to. I've spoken to Attorney Cromer, who's present here, raising his hand out there, saying hello. He's available for questions if you have any. But at this juncture, there's ongoing discussions between the city and the appellant with respect to a possible resolution of this appeal without the necessity of hearing. So the appellant is requesting, and the city's joining in the request, that this matter be carried over until the board's next hearing date. Mr. Mejia, do we have a date selected in April?
We do. It's April 3rd.
So we would continue this matter until April 3rd, and we'll have this matter handled by then or presented for hearing on the appeal. I would only ask Mr. Cromer to personally come on down for a second, verify here at the dais that he is in fact the attorney for the appellant and joins in this request, and it would be appropriate if the board is in agreement to allow this matter to be continued, to do so when you review the agenda. Mr. Cromer?
Yes, he's agreed to that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I would ask the city clerk, how many matters do we have scheduled for April 3rd as of this time?
5.
So by continuing this, we would add, this would be the 6th
Be the
or the
6th
5th?
case.
Okay.
I would only tell the board that I think the likelihood of this matter proceeding is 10% or less.
Excuse me, what is the time of that April 3rd?
That's at 3:30.
That's the 3:30 again.
Okay. At this time, then, I would call for a motion to approve the agenda for today with that one exception, with Mr. Biama's hearing being continued until April 3rd.
And that's item number 2.
Item number 2.
Thanks.
I'll make the motion.
Do you have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Please show it was a unanimous vote.
Thank you.
At this time, are there any comments or questions from the board members regarding today's agenda? Okay. Mr. Cronander, any questions or comments regarding the agenda?
No.
Mr. Cleary?
No.
Vice Chair Howard? Okay, very good. At this time, we will open the floor to public comment. Please note that as we call each agenda item, and tonight there will be 4 agenda items, there will be an opportunity for the public to comment with respect to each one of those cases. But before we open with agenda item number 1, we will open for public comment. At this time, the public may comment on anything that you want to address before the Administrative Appeals Board. But we would ask you that if you want to comment on a specific agenda item, that you wait until we cover that agenda item. Also, we ask that if you're going to comment at this time, that you keep your comments limited to the jurisdiction of this board. If you bring up other matters, we will have to defer potentially to other areas of the city, other departments. We cannot take any action other than regarding those items that are on the agenda that were made notice to the public by the agenda. Testimony for individual hearings will only be taken during those hearings. Public comments will be limited to 3 minutes per comment, whether you comment now or during one of the agenda items. To address the board, as we mentioned earlier, you will need to fill out a speaker card with our city clerk. And finally, as the presiding officer, I will call your name when I've received your card from the city clerk, and then you may approach the dais. At this time, are there any comment cards?
We do have one public comment from Judith Anner.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. My name is Judith Anner from Palm Springs, California. I pulled up the local appointments, and under the local appointments of Administrative Appeal Board, I see that there are 5 names. On July 17, there were 4 board members present. Item number 2D resulted in a vote for a tie. Item number 2C resulted in a vote for a tie. And that's July 17. October 27, item number 1B resulted in a vote of a tie. And on November 13, item number 1D resulted in a tie. I brought up the resolution that was signed on July 28, 17, and under 7.7, tie votes, in the middle of the paragraph, if a tie vote on any matter results at a time when less than all members of the board are present, the matter shall automatically be continued to the agenda of the next regular meeting of the board unless otherwise ordered by the board. I kind of combed through the minutes and I didn't see any explanation under those 3 days why those cases were not continued, even though the resolution said it shall be continued when there is a tie vote. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Kotkin?
Yes.
At this time, I would ask, having listened to the first public comment of the day, do you have any reply to that comment regarding our procedures and
I'd need to see what resolution Ms. Anner was referencing. Under Chapter 2.5 of the Municipal Code, we have a quorum when we have 3, and we have action being taken on an appeal with respect to any matter before this board upon a majority of the quorum. If there's not a majority of the quorum that's going to vote in favor of the appellant, the appeal is not granted. The appeal is effectively denied by the tie vote. So I'd be happy to review the resolution that she's referencing. I'm not sure exactly what it is.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, are there any other public comments that have been registered at this time?
No other public comments?
Okay. We'll now proceed with agenda item number 1. Before we begin, I'll let the public know that the way we proceed is to start with the city presenting their case. After the city presents their case, the board will have an opportunity to ask questions of our city officials. After that, the appellant, the homeowner, will be able to come up and present their case. We allow homeowners 10 minutes to present their case. You can present individually, or if you want to have both homeowners present, that's permissible. Please note that if you are testifying to the board. If you have any questions, you address the board directly. We do not permit you to ask questions of the city or to examine the city's witnesses. You ask questions through us. After the appellants have presented their case, the board will have an opportunity to ask you questions if there are any, and the city will have an opportunity then to present rebuttal evidence if there is any to clarify issues that were raised. Once the case is closed and all the evidence has been presented, the board will deliberate in the open and come to a resolution, and you will know the result of your hearing this evening after your case is concluded. So at that time, I'd like to call agenda item number 1, an appeal of the administrative decision that David Byron and Reno Dorici are permanently ineligible to operate a vacation rental in the city of Palm Springs, and the administrative fine for operating an unregistered vacation rental property. The property is located at 505 South Farrell, Unit H50 in Palm Springs, California. At this time, I'll turn the floor over to the city to present their case.
Thank you, Chair Reed. As mentioned, the property located at 505 South Farrell, Unit H50 in Palm Springs is what we're discussing today. This particular property has not been issued a vacation rental registration certificate by the City of Palm Springs as of the date of the administrative citation issuance on January 2nd, 2018. Staff has determined that the owners, Mr. Byron and Mr. Dorici, have advertised and operated the property as a vacation rental without a registration certificate. You have the municipal codes in your staff report that pertain to this matter. Advertisement of the property located at 505 South Farrell, Unit H50, Palm Springs was found by our department on vrbo.com website as 1-bedroom, 1-bath Mesquite condo with mountain view, upper floor unit, under advertisement number 1075235. The advertisement of the property and the inquiry contained the following: a 7-night minimum stay, a review on December 28th, 2017, reference to a tax rate of 11.5, which is the vacation rental tax rate in the city. The calendar on this website had last been updated on December 29th, 2017, and our office inquired into a short-term rental on December 30th, 2017 for 14 nights. The owners confirmed the property was available with an invitation to stay and also provided the rental agreement. Based on the advertisement information and the inquiry into the property being offered as a vacation rental by the host's owners, administrative citation AB 0067 in the amount of $5,000 was issued to the owners on title, David Byron and Reno Dorici, for operating a vacation rental without a vacation rental registration certificate. Our office mailed the citation, and we confirmed receipt of that. Staff is also noting that the owners do currently have 2 other properties registered in the city of Palm Springs as vacation rentals. These are at 500 South Farrell Drive, Unit 094, which was registered in March of 2013, and Unit 505 South Farrell A1, registered as of November 1st, 2016. Officer David Williams from our department who issued the citation is here today if you have questions, and I'm also happy to answer any that you might have. Thank you.
And Chairman Reed, with your permission, we'll call Officer Williams down, take him on a brief voir dire regarding the facts of this matter.
Thank you. Please proceed.
I will note for the record that Officer Williams has filled out his oath, speaker card. Mr. Williams, where do you work?
City of Palm Springs Vacation Rental.
I'll ask you to speak a little bit closer to the microphone.
I do have to apologize. I've been at the dentist for 4 hours. My mouth is still numb. If you have problems understanding me, just say so, please.
No, the volume is what's important here. You're understandable. Thank you. Did you hear Ms. Severin's report?
Yes, I did.
And do you know something about that investigation?
I do.
Could you tell the members of the appeals board what you know?
I actually investigated this. This was based off of a lead for this community, Mesquite Country Club. We actually get quite a bit of leads into this property. So I found the ad and I sent an email asking if I could book the property, and if you'd like, I can read that.
Yes.
Good evening. I would like to see if your beautiful home is available May 24th, 2018 to June 7th, 2018. My husband and I will be in Palm Springs for a friend's wedding and just decided to make a vacation out of it. Please let me know if it is available and I can book it right away. So I received a response. It just says from David Orino. Not long after I submitted the inquiry, and that says, Dear Mike Wilson, thank you for your inquiry about my vacation rental. The property is available May 24th, 2018 to June 7th, 2018, and I'd like to invite you to book. I'd like to invite you to stay. You are pre-approved to book, so you will automatically be confirmed if you make a payment. The property will then be booked for your requested days. If you have any further questions, just let me know.
Did you review any online material regarding this property?
Yes, they also sent, along with that, a copy of a rental agreement, but it is completely blank. There's no dollar amount or anything in there.
Anything else remarkable about this property that you can share with the board?
No, that's it.
In the information online, did the property purport to be subject to any taxes?
It did. It was, it said it collected the Palm Springs taxes, and there was no city ID on there, so that made it a little suspicious. But they also list that they have 2 other properties, and I did look at the 2 other ads because they put the ad numbers on there, and they were registered.
But the property that we're talking about...
The property in question is not registered, and that is 505 South Farrell Unit H50.
Thanks for that clarification. I don't have anything further at this time, Mr. Reed. If members of the board wish to inquire, the witness is obviously available.
I have no questions. Do other board members have questions of the city's representative? Mr. Clary, do you have any questions for him?
Not at this time, thank you.
Thank you, sir. I will now ask if any of the board members have questions of Ms. Severin or any other city representative.
No, I do not.
Mr. Clary, any? Good. Okay, so we'll now turn to taking evidence from the homeowners. Are Mr. Byron or Mr. Dorici available? Mr. Byron, I know I'm pronouncing your name correctly, and I apologize if, sir, I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly. How do you pronounce your last name? So I did get it correct. Thank you. Very good. So you may present in any way you see fit. You have 10 minutes from beginning. You can share the dais, or one of you can tell us your story.
So basically, this is our 3rd property that we purchased. They're all in the same community. So the advertisement was basically a cut and paste version of what we've had at the other. I'm not sure exactly what you're referencing to, but that's through VRBO. There's an automated response that goes back that says if those dates are available on the calendar, that that automatic response goes back saying that it's available. Once we realized that the county was no longer doing short-term rentals and were not going to give us a permit for that unit, we no longer accepted, and at the time we weren't taking them anyway, 29 days or less rentals. But because we didn't go back and change it in the VRBO itself, anything that came in under that time would get an automatic response, which we did not accept, and we have not had any rentals for less than 29 days. Again, the reason that it was like that was because we bought it the year before, and we had been having rentals, but they came with rentals that were all 29 days or longer. And again, the advertisement was based on the fact that we were copying and pasting it from our other units.
Any other statements or evidence that you want to present?
No, well, we came in on Friday, but you guys aren't open on Friday, so we were going to show the contract. Like, we have somebody that's in there to show that the dates are all 29 days or more. And again, the date that the January date that you guys sent to us was to our San Diego residents, not here. So there was a delay in responding to that. We saw that we were supposed to bring the 10 copies.
Excuse me, we bought the property in February.
Mr. Reed, I'm sorry, could you ask the appellants to use the microphone? Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
So we bought the property in January. It came with 2 or 3 rentals, and we waited till the end of March. And in March, we started remodeling it, and it was taking a few months. And then we were buying a property out here too, and we were in transit. So a lot of our mail was still in San Diego. It was, you know, some of it was still there, some of it was coming here. We were trying to keep an eye on what was happening with changes in the law.
Well, basically, it was just, like I said, it was an error on our part that we never changed the advertisement.
It was advertised for 7 days, but that's because I pretty much cloned it from the other one. And I didn't realize that until they actually told us when they sent the letter out. But we weren't accepting anything. We've only had 3 rentals on this property, and they've been long-term. They were for at least 30 days or more.
I wanted to ask you, the other 2 properties that you have registered, were you the gentleman who registered the property, so you actually filled out the paperwork, filed it with the city, and then received the permits?
Yes.
Is there a reason why when you purchased this 3rd property, you didn't go through the exact same process?
Well, we were under the impression that once the city said that they were not going to give out permits anymore for short-term rentals, then your guys' website specifically said that you didn't need a permit for 29 days or more. So when we purchased it, we didn't know what the city was going to do. We were just going to mirror it over our other, after our other 2 properties. But then when the city said that if you've already got a permit, you only get 1 permit. We had 2, so we were grandfathered in. And when we talked to the people on the phone, they just basically said that in order to get around that was you just couldn't take short-term rentals, and if you were going to do that, that you didn't need the permit.
I do want to ask, in our materials that we received from the city, there was a reference that in December of 2017 that you had permitted a short-term rental, and there was a review apparently. I believe I'm reading this correctly. Did you have a short-term rental in the unit in December of 2017?
No.
It was actually November 18th through the 17th.
December 17th.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
And the next one would have been January 8th through the 9th.
February 9th.
I'm sorry. And then the next one is who's staying in there now, which is the 31st of the last one for now.
Okay, so the December 2017 rental, it's your testimony that began, that was at least a, how many day rental?
29.
Okay. Mr. Cronander, do you have any questions for the appellants?
Yes, you say that when you purchased the property, it came with rentals, and if so, were those rentals under 29 days.
No. So when we purchased the home, it was already being used as a rental property. And they had 2 rentals that had already been assigned. So when we bought it, part of our contract was that we would keep those, which was, each of them were either 5 or 6 weeks. So basically it was January, February, March, 2 renters for a 3-month period.
Booked through Orange Palm. It was done through Orange Palm, so we just
And that was
honored
written
their
in our
contract.
agreement with our purchase that we would honor those contracts. But neither one of those were short-term either.
And neither one of you spoke personally to the folks at, or anybody at the Palm Springs when they called to ask for the rental for a short period of time. That was all in an automated response.
The best of my knowledge, yes.
And maybe I should have asked this of the representative of the city that asked for the short-term rental, as to whether he spoke to anybody personally or it was all automated. I don't know if it's possible to recall him, or it sounded like he spoke that the.
No, it's certainly possible to recall him. The board has that authority.
It seemed in his comments that he had talked to somebody personally about renting the property for a short period of time and was told that it was available. But it's sounding to me, unless I'm confused, which I may well be, that all of this was an automated conversation that neither of you took part in. So I'm just sort of up in the air.
I'm just confirming with Ms. Severin what I understood to be the case from the testimony. I think it was likely an automated email. No, the officer is saying no, it was not. So he'll testify after you're done with the appellants.
Okay, thank you.
We'll give them an extra minute for this dialogue that we've had.
May I also just add that the automated emails need to be set up within the hosted website.
That was our error.
He could have possibly talked to me. I mean, I'm running 3 different properties, and I don't know, which. Sometimes I just get the thing on my phone and I just hit reply, and eventually, I try to talk to most of our customers. I'm not really sure. You'll get both. You'll get a automated response, and then if they call me, or because our number's listed, I will talk to them. So.
I guess it just goes to my question of whether the officer spoke to either one of you personally or it was all done on a preset automated basis based on your mistaken cut and paste from one of your previous properties. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Cleary?
No questions.
Mr. Howard? No further questions. Thank you both, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Would the board like to recall Mr. Williams so we can try
I was just going to say he's available if you wish.
Mr. Williams, please come forward. Thank you. Mr. Williams, you had read earlier an email or a written response you had received from the homeowners. Is that the only response you received from them, or did you have other communications with them?
That was the only communication with them.
And did you have any indication that that was personalized or an automatic communication with you?
Yes, automatic replies don't send attachments, and this was attached.
I'm sorry. This being...
It's in your package. It's the rental agreement that says RD Vacations.
Although at the very end of the package here?
Correct.
Mr. Stark is telling me it's page 47 in your packet. And as you're reviewing that, Chairman Reed, just in the interest of time, because we have other matters to proceed to, from this position of the city, there's really no factual issue here. They've acknowledged making a mistake. Unfortunately, their mistake is a violation of our ordinance, and that's kind of where we are.
Any other board members have questions for Mr. Williams? Thank you, sir. Ms. Severin, typically at this time, we allow the city for a brief rebuttal after the appellant's testimony. Do you have any additional comments or statements?
Yes, thank you. You know, I have a copy of the other advertisements from the two vacation rentals that are registered, and I'm just doing a quick check, and they all three seem very different to me. I know you don't have the two that are registered in your package. I didn't think that that was pertinent, but based on what the appellant said, I'm taking a quick look, and they're very different. They seem to be customized, each of the three.
Ms. Severin, are they for 30 days or more, or for less than 30 days?
They 7 nights. Give me just a moment. 7 nights. The two that are registered are for 7 nights.
Okay, and they're
as well.
Those are permitted and allowed.
Yes, they are.
But if they had cut and pasted the ads from those, it might have said 7 nights or
the descriptions are very different, but they all say 7 nights.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Of course.
I wanted to verify this time. Do we have any public comments registered for this particular agenda item?
No other public comments?
Thank you. Okay, at this time, we'll close evidence and open it up for board discussion and decision. Mr. Cleary, do you want to lead the discussion in this matter?
Thank you very much. It seems to me that this is the danger of cutting and pasting. You know, sometimes if you cut and paste, you might get some data in there that puts out to the public a shorter term than is allowed. And under the statute, under the rules, it seems to me that the vacation rentals, if they're advertised for less than 29 days or actually rented for less than 29 days, both are violations of the short-term rental rules in Palm Springs. And, you know, I'm going to be very careful when I cut and paste from now on.
Howard, any? Mr. Cronander?
I have no further comments now.
Yeah, I will note that with the regulation that the city adopted, I believe it was after the summer, early fall, late summer, it was very clear that the city's intent was to define the operation of a short-term vacation rental to include advertising, holding that out for a short-term period that met the definition of the statute, of the ordinance, I'm sorry. At this time, I'll call for a motion on this case.
I will move adoption of 2A and 3A, upholding the administrative decision and the fine.
Is there a second?
I will second that motion.
Thank you, sir. All those in favor?
Aye.
I'm sorry, sir, go ahead.
Mr. Chair Reed?
Yes, sir.
Typically for these, I believe the regulations say that it's by roll call vote.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
That's,
So Vice Chair Howard?
Aye.
Board Member Cronander?
Aye.
Board Member Cleary?
Aye.
Chair Reed?
aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Thank you for the clarification. We're proceeding a different method than the last time I participated, so I appreciate that. Okay.
The next item on your agenda would be item number 3.
And just to clarify, Just to clarify, in our board books, rather than having an item number, it states revised at the top. Is that correct for item number 3?
Yes, and I think that's a function of the fact that it was revised. That's exactly right.
Correct. So I'm just clarifying since we don't have an item number at the top of the
You're correct.
item. Okay. So at this time, we'll call agenda item number 3, which is an appeal of the administrative decision that Karate Properties LLC is permanently ineligible to operate a vacation rental in the city of Palm Springs, and the administrative fine for operating an unregistered vacation rental property located at 2810 North Arcadia Court, Unit 206, Palm Springs, California. I note also that individuals, Christopher and Leon, I apologize if I don't pronounce your name correctly, Leon Dukakis and Daniel Crotty are also identified as individuals who would be permanently ineligible to operate. Mr. Kotkin, I wanted to clarify, since we have a corporation as well as 2 individuals, is it the city's contention that the penalties would apply to both the corporate entity as well as the 2 individuals?
Yeah, the financial liability would be joint and several, and the ineligibility would relate to all 3 as well.
Okay, thank you very much. So at this time, we'll open the floor to the city to present the case.
Thank you, Chairman Reed and members of the board. The property that we're discussing today is located at 2810 North Arcadia Court, number 206 in Palm Springs. As of the date of December 26, 2017, when our department issued administrative citation, this location was not a registered vacation rental with the city of Palm Springs. Advertisement of the property located at 2810 North Arcadia Court, Unit 206 in Palm Springs was found on vrbo.com under the title of Cozy One-Bedroom Palm Springs Villa with Mid-Century Charm, under the advertisement number 960219. The advertisement of the property and the inquiry contained the following information. Our staff sent an inquiry on December 23rd, 2017 to book the dates of January 29th, 2018 through January 31st, 2018 for 2 nights, and was responded to as available, and the host, Dan Crotty, responded to, hello, yes, it's available for your dates. That can be found on page 24 of your packet. Property shows a minimum stay of 2 nights. That's page number 30 in the packet. Property advertisement shows 100% response rate by the host. That's located on page 30. The calendar was last updated on December 21st. That's also on page 30. Property advertisement reviews reflect guest stays in November 2016, which is on page 38 of your packet. Based on the advertisement information and the inquiry into the property being offered as a vacation rental by the host, the department issued administrative citation number AB0064 in the amount of $5,000 to Crotty Properties LLC, the LLC on title for operating a vacation rental without vacation rental certificate. The staff notes that Kimberly Francis Leonidakis Crotty, Christopher Leonidakis, and Daniel Crotty are managing members, owners of the Crotty Properties LLC. The administrative citation was mailed by staff via OnTrack. That concludes the staff report. I'm available for any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Mr. Howard, any questions for the city? Mr. Cleary?
Was this a inquiry based on a tip, or how did the location come to the city's attention?
I cannot recall that, but I do have the issuing code officer present in the audience. If I may call him up, he may have that answer for you, sir.
All right. Okay, that would help.
Okay. Patrick, could you please come up?
Good afternoon.
Patrick, could you please state your name and your position within the city of Palm Springs?
Yes, my name is Patrick Clifford, and I do work for the City of Palm Springs Vacation Rental Compliance Department.
Great. Are you familiar with this property?
Yes, I am.
Could you please tell us a little bit about it, and especially address the question of Chairman Clary?
Yes, to address the question, it was a community lead that came in. And then based off that community lead, we further investigated. I specifically made an inquiry stating, hello, I will be in the Palm Springs area for a few days for work, January 29, 2018 through January 31st, 2018. And I was wondering if this place was available for a few days. Thanks. And then Dan, I got a response that says, Dan sent a message, says, hello, it is available for your dates, Dan. And then I did also reply, thanks, Dan, for the response. I will submit to my expense department for authorization. Book once confirmed, that way they will reimburse me for the stay. Thank you for the fast response.
Thank you, Officer Clifford. Just a couple more questions. Could you tell us what prompted your inquiry into this? What prompted your inquiry into this particular property?
What prompted my inquiry was just basically my workflow, I would say. We received a lead through the community, and it is my job duty to further investigate if this is a short-term vacation rental within the city.
Can you tell me, was there any relevant information in the advertisement to this being a short-term vacation rental?
Specifically, when we look at the ads, it does show minimum stays. The minimum stays said a minimum of 2 nights, which further, includes me to go ahead and further investigate based off that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I have no further questions. Mr. Kotkin?
I have a quick question. I don't think I caught it. What was the website?
The website is vrbo.com.
Do any of our board members have questions for Mr. Clifford?
No, thank you. Nothing further.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys.
At this time, then, we will call any representatives of the Crotty Properties LLC who may be present to present the case. Thank you, sir. Please state your name, and then whenever you're ready to begin, you have 10 minutes to present.
Dan Crotty. Well, first I'd like to start up by saying that by October, it was changed to 29 days, but there was a glitch in the VRBO system where it still read out 2-night minimum. So just wanted to say that. But the whole thing started, we bought the condo in 2016. We were given a letter from the HOA saying there were no restrictions on vacation rentals. So we worked on the condo for, I don't know, 3-4 months, get it ready, decorating, painting. So 2017 comes by, there's a new management company that took over. So when we went to get the letter to send to you guys, they're saying, no, that's not true, that there's no restrictions. So we showed them the letter that we got from the other company, and they said, well, they don't use them anymore, so it's not their problem. So basically, we've been there's been a few votes in August to take out some certain section in the rules, and they keep on delaying the voting process. So we're still waiting to get that out of the contract, so the HOA rules. So anyway, let me see what else I got here. Yeah, basically that's, we're just waiting to get the approval from the HOA for the taking out of that so we can do the short term. So basically the first company lied to us. So I have the letter here. I don't know if it was in the original stuff that we sent. I didn't send it, so I don't know.
So it sounds like your HOA is debating whether or not to allow short-term rentals in your complex.
Yeah, some of the board people don't want it, so they're delaying this over and over. So it's taken forever. So that's why we haven't been able to get the letter of approval.
Right, and the citation you received is from the city of Palm Springs.
Right.
So it's kind of a separate entity.
Right.
From the HOA. If your HOA said that you guys were free to rent for, a day at a time, short-term rentals, it wouldn't matter really because there's a citywide ordinance that I'm sure you've heard about by now.
Yeah.
That is restricting, and it's up, it's a hot button issue. There's a lot of debate about it, but that's why you're here. Not what the HOA, what they determine really doesn't matter here. It's separate from that. So I did want to have you clarify a little bit about the 2-night minimum that is part of the evidence is that the minimum stay posted on your advertisement. You indicated that there was a change, but that it wasn't updated somehow.
Yeah, it was earlier in the year, but then we changed it when we got the letter from the HOA saying violation for the rules. So I changed it in October, and it took about 4 or 5 months for the VRBO to fix it, because it kept on saying the same thing. Night minimum, even though it was 29, I changed it.
Right, and in your materials you submitted, it sounded like that the letter you were submitting was to VRBO or to they asked you for if it was allowed or something like that, or no? Was that the city that was asking for that? The letter regarding the HOA that initially allowed the short-term rentals. You were proposing to show that to someone. Was that the website people or?
I'm not sure what you mean.
I misunderstood that then?
Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean.
Well, there was a letter that you got in your closing materials when you purchased the condo that said that...
Oh, yeah, there was no restrictions on rental.
Right.
Right, that's why we bought in there.
And that letter you submitted to VRBO to show them or that somebody asked you for that?
I thought that they submitted it with this hearing part
Oh,
of the
for this hearing.
attached, yeah, but I don't know if they did or not.
Okay, I must have misread it. Okay.
Yeah, I have a copy of it. But.
Okay. Thank you for that clarification. Anything else you think we should know about the process that you've been through?
No, I mean, that's pretty much what's going on.
Mr. Cronander, any questions?
No.
Mr. Howard?
No, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thanks.
Mr. Hodkin, did you want to address the board?
I don't think there's any material issue of fact here with respect to what the board's being asked to decide. And it's funny, just by way of example, in terms of the wealth of information that we get from these reports that our staff puts together for you. This is a 1-bedroom unit, about 600 square feet. The capacity is listed as 4. That's a lot, and it's against our ordinance, and as a practical matter, we're here because of a violation of the ordinance. This is a vacation rental operating without a certificate, and we give all of our permittees a lot of guidance into how to do this. It went on for a long time. Staff is advising me this homeowners association is one of the clearer ones in the community in terms of communicating the restriction on, against, I should say, short-term vacation rental. And I'll just note that as a practical matter, the reviews, not for the truth of the matter asserted, but they're all about short-term rental. They're all about weekend this and weekend that. And again, there's no material issue of fact. I understand the appellant made a point, and you'll wait and consider that. I think the staff's available for questions. There's no issues of fact here.
Before we close evidence, I want to ask, are there any public comments that are registered for this hearing?
Yes, Judith Anner.
Forward. You'll have 3 minutes to present
Yes,
your comment regarding this hearing.
Yes, Mr. Crowley, have you Have we ever spoke, or have you seen me?
Ma'am, I'm sorry, you can make
Yeah.
a public comment,
Oh,
but
okay.
I'm not giving you leave to question.
Oh,
the
okay,
petitioner
sorry
or the
about
city.
that. I don't
No, but
know.
you can address the board.
Right. I just wanted to put it on record that this particular property is in the Homeowners Association of Palm Springs Villas 2. The person that gave in the leads for the citation is Mr. Robert Strickland. And right now, he was vice president, or I'm not sure exactly. I think right now he's the president of the association, of the board. That's the comment I want to say.
Thank you, ma'am. Do any of the city representatives have a final comment? Thank you. I'll close evidence and now open up discussion among my board members. Mr. Howard, do you want to lead discussion on this one?
I have no comment.
Okay. Mr. Clary, any comments?
Just briefly, it seems that I have to agree with the city that doesn't seem to be an issue in dispute as to what happened as far as the rental advertisement for in violation of the statute, and it's a violation to do so, and purchasing the condo as the homeowner did for rental. He's not, if there's a finding by the board that there's a violation, then short-term rental is not going to work for him from now and in permanent ineligibility. Long-term rentals, perhaps, but the short-term rental is not going to be viable. So. That's just my comment.
Mr. Cronin?
Yes, I would only underscore what Mr. Clary stated, that the negotiations or lack thereof or statement of homeowners association with respect to short-term rentals is really irrelevant to this proceeding. We're here to apply the provisions of the applicable regulation regarding short-term rentals. So a defense that's proffered with respect to a homeowners association really isn't relevant to what we're talking about in this proceeding.
Thank you, sir. And likewise, I feel in the same way that you mentioned, that in this case, we're looking to see, was there an operation without a permit? And in this case, there was advertising, and there was also a solicitation that was responded to. So I find there was operating without a permit. With that being said, I'm going to proffer a motion that we adopt a resolution upholding both the decision of permanent ineligibility as well as the fine. So I would propose that we adopt resolution 2A and 3A in this case. Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
Chair Reed?
Aye.
Board Member Cronander?
Aye.
Board Member Cleary?
Aye.
Vice Chair Howard?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Okay, the board will now hear agenda item 4. This is an appeal of the administrative decision that, and sir, can you please pronounce your last name for me? I want to. Yes, sir. I saw you earlier. You are, I assume, the homeowner for agenda item number 4. Rehal, very good. Thank you, sir. We'll be calling you in a few moments. That the Rehals are permanently ineligible to operate a vacation rental in the city of Palm Springs, and the administrative fine for operating an unregistered vacation rental property located at 5951 Montecito Drive, unit number 6 in Palm Springs, California. At this time, we'll turn to the city for presentation of their case.
Thank you, Chairman Reed and members of the board. The property located, as Chairman Reed stated, 59511 Montecito Drive, unit number 6 in Palm Springs, has not been issued a vacation rental permit as of the date of the administrative citation issuance on February 27, 2018. The staff has determined that the owner has advertised and operated a vacation rental without the vacation rental permit. Advertisement of the property at 5951 Montecito Drive, Unit 6, was found on Airbnb.com website as Relaxing Vacation Condo under advertisement number 214-62108. The advertisement of the property and inquiry contained the following. Inquiry dated February 25th, 2018. Request to book the property for the dates of May 7th through May 14th, 2018, a total of 7 days. Was responded as available to book with a special offer of $164 a night. You can find that information on page 27 and 28 of your packet. Response rate to inquiries shows 100% and within 1 hour of an inquiry. That's on page 21 of your packet. And property lists the entire apartment for rent on page 19 of your packet. Based on the advertisement information and the inquiry into the property being offered as a vacation rental by the host, administrative citation number AB0113 was issued to the individuals on title, Ranchdir Rehal and Rehal Singh Rashpal Singh Rehal, the individuals on title for operating a vacation rental without a vacation rental certificate. The administrative citation was mailed by staff via on-track delivery service to the mailing address on the title report. That concludes the staff report. I'm available for any questions. Thank you.
Any board members have any questions of the city?
No. Thank you. Yeah, I have a question regarding the address. That, I just was kind of jumping ahead. Mr. Rahal had indicated that there was some mail mix-up. Is the property, the address, the one listed at 5951 Montecito Drive, is that the unit that's for rent as well? Is that the same address?
That is correct. That's what our records indicate. And I apologize, I did forget that we do have the code compliance officer who did issue the citation, who did investigate this unit, is here and available for questions. May I bring him to the podium, please?
Yes, please.
Thank you. Officer Clifford, could you please join us? Officer Clifford, one more time. Your full name, please, and where are you currently employed?
Yes, my name is Patrick Clifford, and I work for the City of Palm Springs Vacation Rental Compliance Department.
Great. Would you tell us a little bit about the ad and the inquiry you sent?
Yes, this was a proactive find. It was not a community lead. I was investigating other properties in the area, and I did find this advertisement. With that, I did decide to put an inquiry to book. Specifically sent a inquiry with a message, "Hi Roger, thanks for the special offer." Sorry, excuse me, that was my response. The first response was, "Hi Roger, my brother and I are looking for places in the Palm Springs area along with my family to stay for Mother's Day as well as visit the outlier areas. The dates would be May 7th, 2018 through May 14th, 2018, and we are wondering if this place is available. Thank you." From there, I was submitted a special offer for $164 a night. Then with that, I did reply, "Hi, Roger, thanks for the special offer. I will review this with my brother. I do see the countdown clock. If for some reason I am unable to book before the timer ends, will the cost adjust to the regular standard night? No problem. If so, I will review it with my brother. Thanks again."
Thank you, Officer Clifford.
Or do you have questions for the officer?
So, officer, you issued the citation. Is that the ticket? You wrote the ticket, AB0113?
Yes.
And the unit number is listed on the ticket as the homeowner's address
Yes, that's correct.
And you probably haven't seen some of the correspondence, but the homeowners reside in Canada, I believe. I know that you guys usually send stuff through a confirmation service that concerns delivery.
If I may address that, Chairman Clary, any mail that's sent outside of the United States is sent via FedEx, and in particular, because FedEx, we have the ability to track, and we do pay a premium for that service to be able to serve individuals who reside in Canada. In this case, FedEx was used to deliver the letter.
Okay. So they were served in Canada.
That is correct.
Okay. And where is that in the package?
It is not in a package we usually don't provide. If you would like to, I can try to look through back of the properties and provide it to you at the meeting. We can introduce it as an additional exhibit if you'd like.
I just have seen it in the past, the confirmation of service or something. So you're saying, even though the citation was listed in Palm Springs, the service took place in Canada?
Give me 1 second. I apologize. I do show proof of service to the local address that was signed by Mr. Rahal on 3/7/2018 through USPS, actually, and through a certified mail. I apologize. I stand corrected.
So it didn't go via Canada.
That's correct. But what we do to be thorough and to make sure we give everybody proper notice, we mail the copy of the citation to all addresses, including the local address that we're citing for. So whatever is on the title, the mailing address, and the physical property, we mail as well.
All right. Thank you. If that's no further questions.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Mr. Cronin or Mr. Howard, any questions for the
No.
officer? No. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, at this time, we'll turn to the petitioners. You can please come to the podium. And sir, if you can state your full name for the record, and then whenever you're prepared, you can begin, and you have 10 minutes to present to the board. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Rajinder Singh Rihal. And grounds for my grounds for appeal that I have this notice of violation in the first week of March 2018. I'm only here in winter months in Palm Springs. I am a resident of Canada, and my mailing address also is Canadian. I receive all my property tax bills and other correspondence from Riverside County in Canada. I wasn't aware of this ordinance prior to receiving this letter of citation. Therefore, this violation was an oversight on my part due to lack of awareness. Had I received any communication, reminder, or warning, I would have acted appropriately in an immediate manner and would have gotten vacation rental registration certificate. I am a law-abiding citizen and follow all the rules of the land. Until last October, we have used this condo for myself and family. I have listed on Airbnb last October, and I have not booked any rental yet. Soon after I was aware of this ordinance, I have taken my listing off that website and also canceled the confirmed booking for $3,000 coming in April. I'm requesting thereby to allow me this as a warning and waive the fines and cancel the citation. In conclusion, I would like to say this. In view of the fact that I wasn't aware of receiving any communication prior to this letter, I request for the fines to be waived with the assurance on my part that I will follow all the requirements necessary in future. I would like to clear this here that the letter I received, it was a registered letter. Because I'm in Palm Springs in the winter months here, I keep checking my mail regularly. And I found a piece of note left by Postal Service to be picked up at the postal station. So I went there and picked up a letter. That was the first time I saw the citation and the ordinance and the bylaw of Palm Springs City. And that's all I have to say, sir.
Do any of our board members have questions for the homeowner? Mr. Clary, do you have?
Did you say that you have not rented it out
Not yet.
It's never been rented?
Not less than 29 days.
Not less than 29 days, okay. So you've actually not engaged any short-term rental people at your unit?
Not at all.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Mr. Cronin, do you have any questions for the
No, I don't. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Welcome. I would like to add that I have a copy of the cancellation from BMB website, and if you would like to, I can forward to you.
Sure, we'll look at it. I take you at your word. I mean, if that you canceled it, I believe you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. You had testified under oath, so we take your testimony as the truth. Thank you, sir. At this time, are there any public comments that are registered?
No other public comments.
Thank you, sir. Members of the city team, are there any final rebuttal statements on this case?
Third time, I don't think there's any real factual issue here. Submit the matter to the board.
Okay, so with that, we'll close evidence and turn it over to the board for discussion and decision. Mr. Cronin, do you want to lead us on this discussion?
Sure.
Thank you.
As we're all aware, the ordinance states that there is a violation if the property is advertised for less than the 29 days, or it is rented for less than 29 days. So it's not operative that no one actually rented that property for less than 29 days. The mere fact of the advertisement of the property is enough to merit a violation. Thank you.
Sir. Sir, I did want to comment that I appreciate the fact that you spend a great deal of time away from Palm Springs, but the laws of the city apply equally to those of us who are full-time residents, those of us who are part-time residents, and the city is under no obligation to notify us individually when the law changes. It's our obligation as citizens to know the laws that we have to operate under as residents, whether we're part-time or whether we're full-time. And so that is a fact that we're unable to consider. The board is required to follow the law as written, which is if a vacation rental is operated and it's not registered and it's short-term, we are to follow the law. And in this case, advertising is one of the activities that it qualifies as operating. So it has been well established by the city that actually renting the unit is not required to fall under the definition of operating. If it's held out and advertised, it is the equivalent of operating. Yes, sir.
Sir, since I'm not here full-time, only from January till April, there unintentionally, a lot of things get messed up. So this was the one of them that I wasn't aware of. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other comments from board members? At this time, I'll entertain a motion on this case.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
I will move adoption of resolutions 2A and 3A upholding the administrative decision and the fine.
Thank you.
2A and 3A.
Thank you, sir. I'll second your motion.
Vice Chair Howard?
Aye.
Chair Reed?
Aye.
Board Member Cronander?
Aye.
Board Member Cleary? Motion passes 4-0.
Thank you, sir. Okay, the board will now consider agenda item number 5. This is an appeal of the administrative decision that Jamie Rio Martinez and Padmini N.Y. are permanently ineligible to operate a vacation rental in the city of Palm Springs and an administrative fine for operating an unregistered vacation rental. The property is located at 1801 South La Paloma in Palm Springs, California. At this time, I'll turn the floor over to the city for the presentation of the case.
Thank you, Chairman Reed and members of the board. The property located at 1801 South La Paloma, Palm Springs, did not have a vacation rental registration certificate issued by the city as of the date of the administrative citation on January 23rd, 2018. Staff has determined that the owner has advertised and operated the property as a vacation rental. Advertisement of the property located at 1801 South La Paloma, Palm Springs were found on vrbo.com under the title of Chic Mid-Century Home in Prime Palm Springs location under advertisement number 1206085. The advertisement of the property and inquiry contained the following items. An inquiry was sent on January 22nd, 2018. The request to book the property for the dates of May 11th through May 18th, 2018 for a total of 7 nights was responded to as available to book. Inquiry was pre-approved and included a request for payment that can be found on page 37 through page 43 of your packet. Property advertisement shows a minimum stay of 5 nights on page 22. The calendar was last updated on January 22nd, 2018. That can also be found on page 22. Based on the advertisement information and the inquiry into the property being offered as a vacation rental by the host, the department proceeded to issue administrative citation AB 00787 in the amount of $5,000 to Jamie Rio Martinez and Padmini N.Y., the individuals on title for operating a vacation rental without a vacation rental certificate. The administrative citation was mailed by staff via on-track delivery service to the mailing address located on the title report. That concludes the staff report. I'm available for any questions. Thank you. Oh, and I apologize, and the issuing code officer of the citation is here. If I may call up Officer Rasmussen to ask him a couple of questions.
Yes, please.
Thank you. Officer Rasmussen, can you please come up? Thank you. Could you please state your name and your position within the city of Palm Springs, please?
My name is John Rasmussen. I'm a vacation rental compliance officer with the city of Palm Springs.
Great. Thank you. Could you please tell us a little bit about your inquiry and the reason for the inquiry and where the lead came from?
I'm not exactly sure where the lead came from. This could be a proactive investigation or a lead on our tip line. We found the ad on Verbo, and I requested to book it, and the booking was accepted.
Okay. What could you tell us a little bit about the ad? What information the ad pushed you towards sending an inquiry into the property?
The ad was for chic mid-century modern in Palm Springs. And it did not indicate that the minimum was more than 28 days. That led me to believe it was a short-term rental, and there was no, it was not registered as such.
Was there any city ID or transient occupancy tax number posted on the ad?
There was not.
Thank you. Can you clarify? I believe that there is a minimum stay. I believe that an advertisement shows 5 nights. Is that what you show in your copy?
That is correct.
Okay, great. Thank you. I don't have any further questions. Chairman Reed, members of the board, if you may have questions for Officer Rasmussen, please.
Are you the John Baker that's in the ad? Is that the ad? That's you?
I am, sir.
Okay. All right. So are you also receiving kind of automated responses when you do this inquiry for the notes? Is this something VRBO automatically composes and sends to you? The Dear John Baker, thanks for your inquiry, blah, blah, blah.
Correct. Yes, they do.
Okay. So do you know, apart from the automated response, if you had any contact in this case with the actual homeowner?
Yes, because I also have a Verbo mailbox, and I get, besides the Gmail notification from Verbo and the actual inbox, I interact with the homeowner or the property owner.
Through a Gmail voicemail that comes to you? Is that what happens?
No, it's a response that the property owner provides to Verbo, which is not automated. I can read it to you.
Okay.
The response was, Dear John Baker, thank you for your inquiry about my vacation rental. The property is available from May 11, 2018 through May 18, 2018, and I'd like to invite you to stay. You are pre-approved to book, so you will automatically be confirmed if you make a payment. The property will then be booked for your requested dates. If you have any further questions, just let me know. Thank you, Jamie Rio Martinez.
Yeah, we've seen a couple other. I've seen a couple other of these responses too. It looks like that's kind of an automated response, but you're telling me no, it's not automated. It's actually from the owner.
I assume that this was from Jamie. I don't know that it is automated.
Board Member Cleary,
Yeah.
if you wish to inquire of the supervisorial staff, they can shed a little further light on
okay.
this.
Sure.
When, thank you, Mr. Kotkin. When an individual sends an inquiry for a booking online, the host has options. They can deny the inquiry, they can approve the inquiry. So for this inquiry to be sent out, the host had to accept the inquiry and respond as he's willing to host this booking and this property is available.
In other words, it's an automated text response, but the property owner has to make a selection in order to send that response to the inquiry.
Correct. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. But you had no conversations with a live voice?
No.
No. Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Rasmussen.
Thank you.
Mr. Stark, I was going to ask the information that you just provided to us, is that based on personal knowledge of your interaction with VRBO?
That is correct. And majority of online booking platforms want to make the response quick, so they provide a host of options when an inquiry comes in. You have the ability to ask additional questions, as in a customized note. You have the ability to respond that it is available to book, such as in this case that we saw, or you have the ability to deny the booking for whatever reason that you may have. So it is a general practice within online booking agencies to be able to do this. That's Airbnb, HomeAway, VRBO, Booking.com, any of those major platforms give these options to the hosts.
Thank you. Any further questions from the board for the city? At this time, we'll turn to the homeowners. Are either of the homeowners present? Yes, sir. Please approach the podium. If you'll please state your full name, and then when you're ready to proceed, you'll have 10 minutes to present evidence to the board.
Jamie Rio Martinez. Yeah, we bought that property specifically for vacation rental. I would say I was misinformed by my real estate agent. We had no idea that the codes of the city of Palm Springs. At any rate, as soon as I got that citation, we took the thing off the site, closed it down. I've never rented it to anybody, but I gathered just by advertising that that's a violation. All I can say right now is we're planning on selling it next month. My wife is quite ill, and we just found that out a couple of weeks ago. So it's been a mess, and I apologize for, I don't break the law anyway. I'm the worship leader at my church, but this is where we're at. One thing that Mike Pym, the agent who sold me the home, I had to pay a fee to get here. He's sending me that fee back. If this becomes a $5,000 bill, they're going to pay that. This was, well, they're saying a mistake on their part also. That's where we're at.
Are there any questions from the board for the homeowner?
No, although I am a little heartened to know that your real estate agent is willing to
reasonable.
Be reasonable, because we have heard statements in other hearings where appellants have not been told by their real estate agent with respect to the regulation and are unfortunately but realistically left, so to speak, holding the bag on it because the law is the law.
Yeah. HomeSmart is the company, so I'm guessing they're backing him. So, yeah, he's a good guy.
Any further questions, Mr. Cleary?
Mr. Martinez, I'm sorry to hear about your wife's illness.
Thank you.
The city does go to the realtor offices or meetings and present to them about the new ordinance. So hopefully it will reduce the opportunities or errors that are going on.
Also on your website there was it says about a courtesy letter. I never received a courtesy letter. I just received a citation. I mean, a phone call would have done. Like I said, I'm not a lawbreaker. I would have happily said fine, because I think you read the dates to things where the 22nd it was updated. I got the notice on the 23rd. It was off the site.
Just for the edification of the appellant, who seems like a great guy, the first regulation that was adopted by the city with respect to vacation rental was that courtesy notices were not going to be issued. So there may be courtesy notices referenced on the city's website, but not with respect to vacation rental.
Got it.
So that's not something.
And I misread it. Apologize.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Are there any public comments registered for this agenda item?
No other public comments.
Thank you, sir. Any rebuttal evidence from the city or rebuttal statements?
No further comments, Chairman Reed. Thank you.
We would just note there are no factual issues. Submit the matter to the board.
Thank you, sir. Okay, with that, we'll close evidence and turn the discussion over to the board. Howard, any comments or questions on this one?
I don't have any comments.
Mr. Cleary?
Well, I think the comment I would make is that from my hearing today, the evidence, it seems to me that the ordinance is having some effect, because it doesn't seem like there's any evidence that any short-term rentals took place in any of the hearings today. I mean, in the past, we've had examples of homeowners who have actually rented for short-term periods of time several times and were eventually cited because they didn't have a permit. But in this case, the homeowners that are here, once they found out, they pulled their advertisements. There were actually no bookings. They're actually all in violation of the advertisement aspect of the ordinance, which seems to have a broader reach. But from what I'm hearing today there's less examples of actual short-term rentals taking place. And now our violators, the people are being brought before the hearing on advertising basis. So it's interesting to note. That's all.
Cronander?
I have nothing further.
This time I'll call for a motion on this case.
I'll move that we uphold the administrative decision that Jamie Rio Martinez be permanently banned from operating a vacation rental under Section 2A and similarly under Section 3A, that the administrative fine of $5,000 issued to the same be upheld.
I'll second the motion.
Board Member Cronander?
Aye.
Chair Reed?
Aye.
Board Member Cleary?
Aye.
Vice Chair Howard?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Okay, and with that, we'll move on to agenda item number 6, approval of the minutes from a special meeting of the board on February 8th, 2018. I was not present, and I also, when reviewing the minutes, they didn't make entirely sense to me because the numerical organization of the minutes appeared to be in error. So I'm going to turn this agenda item over to one of the board members who was actually present at the last hearing.
I've reviewed the minutes as presented and find them to conform, at least to my recollection of what occurred at that time. And so my motion would be to approve the minutes of the special meeting of February 8th, 2018.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Vice Chair Howard?
Aye.
Board Member Cronander?
Aye.
Board Member Cleary?
Aye.
With Chair Reed abstaining.
Thank you.
Motion passes 3-0.
Okay, moving to agenda item number 7, board member comments and requests. Are there any issues that any of our board members would like to raise at this time?
Is this the section where we talk about comments and requests?
Correct. Any comments, concerns of the board regarding our process, procedures, any subject matter that comes before the board?
I would just comment in response to the public comment by Ms. Ainer, who was present today, and referenced a section under the Administrative Appeals Board's rules of procedure. And she referenced section 7.7, which is tie votes, and the rules as adopted on July 17th, 2017, do have a provision under 7.7 of the Administrative Appeals Board's rules of procedure regarding the procedure that's to occur in tie votes. So I would ask that we agendize a discussion regarding that rule and whether or not we proceeded in accordance with the rule on July 17th, October 27th, and November 13th, I think, are the dates that she indicated.
City Clerk and I conferred after Ms. Ainer made her comment, and I concur. It appears that certain votes, based on her comments, and I have no reason to distrust her comments, may have taken place in violation of this rule of procedure. Staff will bring forward a recommendation with respect to the votes in question.
All right.
I was confused because I thought she was referencing our ordinances, our Palm Springs Municipal Code. There's nothing covering that issue in there.
Well, Mr. Mejia kindly gave us our little yellow booklet of rules and procedures.
Yes, he did.
Yes, he
That's
did.
what, he's doing an amazing job.
So maybe we can agendize that for the next meeting.
We certainly will.
And sir, if you could respond to one question I would pose during that discussion in the future that we're going to have is in the event of a conflict between an ordinance and procedures of a board, what would be your legal opinion about which provision would in fact control?
Certainly be happy to opine on that when we present the material.
Thank you. I wanted to, during this agenda item number 7, I wanted to ask if the city adopts any resolutions, any regulations, any other matter of substance that the board needs to consider prior to the next hearing, would it, I think it would make sense for the city to notify us rather than simply posting on a website or someplace where we would have to affirmatively find that relevant material. So I was asking for a commitment from the city to notify us if there are any changes, supplements, amendments to the substantive materials that we need to preside over these hearings.
I think we can certainly make that commitment between my office, Mr. Mejia's office, and the vacation rental staff. We'll make sure you get wind of everything that's going on. I know we're not at item number 8, and I don't want to jump the gun if board members have more comments.
I just, based on our experience so far, rely on the staff report for each individual appeal to apprise us of whatever the substantive provisions of any ordinance or regulations that are relevant to that appeal. And that's always just been my my guidance, and I appreciate that and assume that that will continue in the future. And if anything changes or is added, that's how I'll know about it.
Well, good example would be when Board Member Cronander came in, or excuse me, when Chairman Reed came in, he inquired whether we had any new regulations. I know because I just signed one that we do, but it did not pertain in any way to any of the cases that were before you today, so it didn't make its way into the yellow binder yet. But yeah, we try to be anyway, dutiful about bringing any development that could relate to any case before you, any appeal. We try to bring it to the forefront, and we certainly will continue to do so. We never want you to have a lack of information.
Thank you.
I would also note for the city clerk's office that at least this time around, the electronic version of the agenda and the materials did not include the filings by the petitioners. I caught that on Saturday. I was about to prepare for the hearing and had to run in this morning, grab the binder, prep this afternoon for the hearing. So I would appreciate if we could ensure that for future meetings that when the agenda goes up, the petitioners' filings are included electronically. Some of us do, I know, prepare days in advance, or at least a few days in advance. I appreciate that. Thank you. Any other comments under agenda item number 7? With that, we'll turn to the city prosecutor for any comments or reports.
For members of the board and for any members of the public still present, there is a vacation rental initiative that's qualified for the ballot this June 5th. So the voters here in the city will have something to say about the future of vacation rental in the city of Palm Springs. Matter's been subject of considerable discussion at the city council level, and certainly the minutes of those proceedings and the video of those proceedings, I dare say, are well available and easy to access on our website. If board members are curious, they can certainly follow up about that. The agenda reports are also available online in relation to that. And I make those comments only insofar as the ordinance itself is something that we deal with pretty extensively here. And to the extent that you're interested, it's out there for you as information for your background and your perusal. From our vantage point, the issues at stake don't relate to the matters that we're bringing you, but certainly by way of background as far as the ordinance, they would.
And sir, do you have any updates on, I know there's obviously a committee of the city that continually meets to assess the vacation rental situation. Are there any proposed changes to the ordinance that are imminent? Or
oh, there are quite a few, and but for the fact that there's an initiative going on the ballot in June, we probably would have already advanced those changes to the ordinance. But I suspect, and ultimately it's the subcommittee that makes these decisions, not the city attorney or city prosecutor. I suspect that those changes will be forthcoming after the election, presuming that the election goes one way or the other. Obviously, the revision of the ordinance will have will be subject to some significant impact, depending on the outcome.
Moving to agenda item number 9, Mr. City Clerk, is there any announcements?
The only announcement is your next meeting scheduled for April 3rd at 3:30 in this room.
Okay, there be no further matters or business on the agenda. A motion would be in order at this time to adjourn until the next regularly scheduled meeting on April 3rd at 3:30 p.m. At this location. Do I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second.
Good. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, sir.